Crota's End, the reprisal, a raid that once was considered to be on the same level of difficulty as a glorified strike, notorious for solo completions and numerous cheeses expediting victory, has been brought back with a spectacular return. My boy, you have aged like fine wine. Now, this may be from a strange perspective here. I am not someone who raids very often. I love watching them, and when I can really muster up the courage to get into an LFG and run one after hours of researching mechanics, they're some of the best moments in gaming. The feeling of camaraderie after slaying a big-ass boss and running rotation after rotation, getting the mechanics down, it's incomparable. So with that being said, all my opinions on this are from that perspective. Before we dive in, I ask that if you enjoy this content and more like this from yours truly, then smack that subscribe button, bash the subscribe button, beat the devil out of it. Let's get the ball rolling here by doing a quick recap on what Crota's End initially was and the importance it holds to the story as a whole. The year was 2014. Destiny at the time did not have very much going for it, and can be recalled as one of the lowest points in the franchise's history depending on who you ask. All the potential with execution that left much to be desired, partly due to development issues and studio disagreements with the big suits. But Destiny was hurting for more content and needed to shed its vanilla skin. December rolled around and The Dark Below was released. To less than stellar reviews, it was safe to say this did not necessarily save the franchise just yet. But with it came our first experience with Crota's End, a new raid that had Guardians dive deep into the Hellmouth on the moon to take on Crota, the son of Oryx, in a grandiose final encounter. I absolutely loved the tone of this raid, feeling like a truly horrifying experience on a first playthrough. The initial fall into the abyss felt like dropping directly into hell, only to be met with a labyrinth of darkness and disorientation. Creepy as hell. But following this encounter came the bridge, the thrallway, progressing to the Oversoul where we disrupt Iryut's liturgy, and finally, of course, the showdown with Crota. Throughout this endeavor, we learn the terrifying fates of Guardians before us, and lore-wise, pretty damn cool, giving us some more insight on why Eris Morn is as fucked up as she is. If Oryx was God, we just clap Jesus. But lore cannot save a raid, because this raid was given the title of a glorified strike. Crota's End was perhaps the easiest, most cheesable raid in Destiny history. Solo clears, skipping full encounters like the bridge and the abyss, unplugging Ethernet cables to stunlock Crota, and one-phase him with ease. It was all around a rather disappointing raid experience. But deep down, I know y'all love it like I do. It's a bit dysfunctional, but we love you. So for 9 years, Crota's End was hailed as the easiest raid in all of Destiny. That is until just this past weekend where Crota was brought back for another ass whooping. What is this, like 6 now? Or so we thought. You see, following the Rootofnightmares raid race, the community was up in flames over whether or not contest mode is worthy of its title, as it is typically seen as the pinnacle of endgame completion, the true test of might. Rootofnightmares had the highest amount of day 1 clears and contest mode clears of any raid. Casuals were even finding contest mode to be a bit of a breeze. Rootofnightmares was my first contest mode raid attempt, and I will say, as someone who doesn't raid very much, it was easier than expected. You think contest mode, you think Sweat Factory and being absolutely optimized in your ability, the definitive gauge of your skill, but it surprisingly was not. The only shortcoming my LFG team had was DPS on Nezarec, which unfortunately took right up until the contest mode ended and we didn't get our emblem. Very sad day. The raid race streams were short and anticlimactic, with all commentators left in a state of confusion with how fast encounters were being completed, how mechanics hardly changed between encounters, and the overall survivability being a practical given. Raid race day went from a day-long event, multi-day on some occasions, to a 2-hour stream and a wave of disappointment across all social platforms. Like, for myself, I treat raid race days like a special occasion. I go out, I buy snacks and drinks, take the day off, and enjoy the community competition, like watching a pay-per-view fight. So you could imagine my disappointment when it ended after such a short duration. But Crota's End has brought back some of that magic. That raid race was a great time. The changes to the mechanics left pros scrambling for solutions and trial and error after trial and error. The introduction of the chalice and cleansing mechanics threw a wrench in the mix that had everyone involved with the mechanics, and not just 2 people juggling while the other 4 were on ad clear duty. During the Rootofnightmares raid race, Saltagreppo's clan Elysium found themselves themselves clearing the raid in about 2 hours. Another world's first belt for them this year too, but a lot more struggle occurred leading up to it, and might I say, one of the most asshole-clenching endings to a raid race in a minute. Altide's team and Elysium were neck and neck down to the last DPS rotation, but Elysium had their strat cleaned up just a bit more and scored the title. Shout out to Professor Broman for the split screen finale on stream.
2 wells down. He's not doing his hammer thing.
Looking clean.
So they put both wells down so fast, they're already out of it.
Oh shit.
Come on.
They got it.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, yeah, all right. Nice robust offering.
But even with World's First out of the way, it was a very difficult contest mode for all other players. Some players being stuck on encounters for hours, 6+ hours just getting Ear-Ute cleared, over 8 hours on Crota. The fine-tuning of rotations and damage phases was like watching art in motion, where encounters were being run back so many times that players were dead-faced on autopilot just pathing the same routes over and over until eventually a clear was achieved in the most white-knuckled finales in the game. Shout out to aztecross. Spent like 16 hours watching that first clear, and that was a fantastic time.
Why?
It's still going, it's still going.
Let's go!
But that's what I'm talking about. I was fucking excited for this stuff, and my expectations were met well and good. Of the 3 reprisals we have now, Vault of Glass, King's Fall, and Crotaraid is definitely the most well fleshed out upgrade of all. Don't get me wrong, I love King's Fall with my whole chest, but goddamn, this was great. You can probably tell I'm a bit of a fanboy about this shit, but fuck off, I'm happy. You should find happiness too. The raid race felt like a full day event, unlike last time. The struggle, the realization of strats, the fine-tuning loadouts hour after hour, the finale was so damn good. I felt like I was 16 again watching OG raid races. And just to put the difficulty of this raid into perspective, Rootofnightmares contest mode had around 4,500 clears in the first 10 hours, while crotasend took 48 hours to reach that same number. The general consensus on Twitter went from, "We did contest mode for the first time, whippy," to "We tried and ultimately we could not do it." Now you can debate all day on whether difficulty is artificially inflated, yada yada yada, I don't give a shit. It was fun as hell. Anyways, that's all I've got to say on the matter, and I hope we get some more returning raids in the future with the same level of difficulty added, or, you know, just new raids in general. Even if I'm not skilled enough to brave the contest mode, I want to watch people suffer. Did you try to complete the contest mode for crotasend? Did you find it to be a much more fulfilling experience than the original? Please keep conversations civil here, as we're just having fun. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. As per usual, check out some other content on the channel if you like, or let me know what else you want to see. Take care, catch y'all on the flip side. Deuces.